Okay, we're recording. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. I guess Hilary's away, putting her feet up, which is great. And today we're going to talk about events. And I know there's some of you here who are doing great job with all these events, and would love to hear what are you doing, what is working, what is not, what sort of events are you guys doing, and then we can talk about what events are coming up. I'm going to take a bit of a back seat because I know that Rachel and Tanya and Lucy and you guys are doing a great job. So Rachel, can we start with you? Can you share with us, please?
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm happy to share. At the moment, we've got down south here 2 events that we're running every single week. So the first one is called The Shift, and it's aiming at I guess the crowd of people that can't make events during the day. So it's an evening thing at 7 o'clock at the Vernon Arts. Well, I've actually sort of done this with sideline teams and teamed up. I think Michelle's been to quite a few. The atmosphere is quite great. We've got a room on our own at the pub at the Vernon Arms Tavern, so it's a really lovely atmosphere, and they're building every single week. So they're really great to be a part of at the moment because we're getting lots of different testimonials, which is obviously quite powerful when you're doing these events. So they're the type of events they are is business, as well as they're more business events, but obviously we're doing a lot of product testimonials and stuff like that as well. What was I going to say about it? Yeah, as the community, like every single week I'm finding that the event is growing, so it's really lovely just to meet other Juice Plus people. And the whole idea when it was put together was to create a bigger movement down this way and show the integrity of what Juice Plus is about from a health perspective, that we're not just another product out there on the market. So it's really great making that, I guess, a wider work, wider community with sideline teams, not just our team, that we know that the people out there are really caring and putting a good name behind our product as well. So I'm really excited. These women are all women that are out to pretty much build a business. They're very motivated people, and they're out to climb that ladder pretty quickly. So they're really inspired and exciting to be around at the moment. So it's really great. We've got NMD support most weeks. So both the Wednesday night, and I'll talk about the Friday event in a minute, but the Wednesday night we've usually got an NMD that's coming down. It's also great just to have, Hilary's been down a couple of times, and we've had Caitlin Field as well as Carla Shemmer arrived on Friday to our Lady Lifestylers event. So it's just really good to have their feedback as well. So it's great to have the experience to present, to get out of your comfort zones and to grow in yourself with presenting at the events, and gets that good NMD feedback in a variety of people as well. So I'm loving being a part of that. Our Friday one is at the Kent Street Deli in Rockingham. So I should have said the Vernon Arms is in Belldivers. So it's really kind of, we aimed it to be a little bit more central down south here, so it wasn't too far out past. Belldivers is fairly accessible. And the Lady Lifestylers is going to be at the Kent Street Deli until we can find a larger venue, because we are actually starting to fill up that room. So we're running out of seats. This last week we actually had no seats left available, so if we can grab a bigger venue, we will be for that. So that's obviously similar to the one they're doing at Matisse. And as I say, like most weeks, if we're getting guests there, I think that's what is not always going so well. A lot of these events tend to draw the Juice Plus people more than they do getting guests, so it's building for them. So I'm using social media as much as I can to show the excitement behind what the events are, hopefully trying to get people there and invite a minimum of maybe 5 people, which I haven't started doing. But I'm inviting as many people as I can think of every single week to both events. And when I'm speaking to people, instead of asking them one-on-one, hey, I can have a chat to you, I'm really trying to encourage them to get to these events so they can see some amazing testimonials, business and product. And that's about it, I think, for me.
That's awesome, Rachel. Thanks for that. And yeah, I suppose with these community events, the whole idea is that if everyone supports it, that already makes a crowd. And then if everyone brings one person, that's a crowd.
That's right. It's the power in numbers, isn't it?
Yes.
I agree. It just creates such a sense of excitement when you see lots of people. Like I look at your events that you guys are doing down south, and I've got fear of missing out that I haven't made any. It's exciting when you see all the photos and the posts and the people there. And, you know, people are always watching our social media. So I'm sure that they're all thinking the same thing.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. And it's uplifting as well. So even when we're not getting guests there, I think it's just great to tap into our own events for our own motivation as well, because sometimes that can get a little bit low. And what I'm finding from people is because I'm watching different powerful product stories and business stories, and people are so excited about it at the moment, you can't help but to kind of buy into that and enjoy it as well. And it's really motivating. Yeah. It's
like coming together as a community. It's great.
It's a great community we have, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think it's great that you guys are doing it regularly, because I think there's a power in regular events. So that
absolutely.
In your diary, and there is the whole team then can build for those, you know, when you meet people, that there is that event that's happening every week that you can invite people.
And there's regulars as well. What I'm finding Wednesday nights at the Vernon Arms, you've got your regular client, like customers that come, and then the staff are watching as we're showing up. And so a few of them have said, what is this? And I know that was happening at Matisse, because we're showing up every week and it's getting larger and larger. It creates an interest just from the community that are there and the people that are watching. So yeah, like it's consistency, I think, in keeping it happening every single week. Yeah.
And I'll hand over to Tanya in a minute, but you know what, Tanya, you said the fear of missing out. I think we sort of have to use that a little bit, because you're not the only one. So after the event, it's important to take photos and talk about it, and then, you know, post on Facebook and all that, so that next time, you know, you want to join in and find out what's it all about. I'll hand over to you, Tanya.
Can I just quickly say one last thing? I'm sorry to hold this up. We've got 3 events coming up. We've got an additive awareness event that we're running with myself and Donna. We've got a breakfast on the run and a lunchbox event, which will open up to anyone in Team Angels who wants to come along.
Make sure you post on the team page, so we'll
post. Yeah.
And can I just add, like when those events do pop up, that is part of our greater team, like that you guys hold, and they kind of float around on a public feed. I always like to go in and make sure I click either interested or liking, because that opens it up to a wider audience. I think I clicked interested in attending one of Rachel's additive aware events the other week, and one of my customers, who's like way up north of the river, she had kind of hit in and said, oh, you know, that's something that, you know, Tanya's interested in, so maybe I'm interested in it too. It might be something that, you know, we're going to go to together next time that comes around. So when that kind of came back through on my Facebook, that I saw that she had clicked that she was interested, I was like, oh, that's really nice. So it just, I don't know, I just feel like that's a little bit of a support to you girls as well, that it kind of just opens up the, you know, it kind of opens it up to everybody. Because everybody's looking.
Bigger, doesn't it?
It makes it bigger, and, you know, when you've got more people interested in an event, it just makes it more appealing.
Yeah, for sure. And if you ever want to do one your way, Tanya, and I guess that stands for anyone in the team, and you're a little unsure about it and you want help with it, then I'm always happy to come that way, and then I can always invite people that I know that side of the river or whatever, you know. It's just helping each other with these events too, I think. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go, Tanya. I know that you have done some good events, so go for it.
Well, I'm a really bad public speaker, so the thought of getting up and speaking in front of people really terrifies me, and that's something that I kind of need to work on in myself, but I know the importance and the power of events. So I decided that I'd create my own little ones that I have, like, that run in-house, that's not out in public, and that's kind of just got a very intimate number of people, say, 8 to 10 guests tops. And with that, I've kind of made PowerPoints and run it either off my computer, or if I can get the cable that links into the TV, and run it as a really informal presentation. But I've got videos that I've pinched off the Juicy Crew that I've kind of input into it, and I've got it kind of as a little slideshow. So it kind of just starts off really broad about, my story, our story. And we kind of just ball roll it from there. So each little slide is like my prompt to say something and keep me on track. Otherwise, I tend to find that I have different thoughts pop into my head as I'm speaking, and I get off track. So for me, that was a really good way for my confidence to boost to do events, was to have that PowerPoint in the background that has the prompts. And then, like, areas that I don't feel confident discussing, I've just input a little video in there with either like Dr. Mitra Way that kind of explains it a bit more in depth. So while they're talking, then I'll make a smoothie, or, put out some healthy foods and snacks from the guides. So I found that, my first event that I held was an actual flop. No one came. But I still went ahead and took photos of it and published all the photos. And then the second one that I did was a bit more successful, because it kind of was like, it looked like, I was having a hoot of a time, but there was in fact only 2 of us there. And the next one, I kind of got 6 people to that. So it kind of built, but I was very careful and skillful with the photos that I do put up onto Facebook and social media. So it kind of, will look good regardless of if there's 2 of us or 6 of us or 10. So, and with those events, I kind of make my posts public as well. So people, and the guests that do come, I ask if I can tag them in, so it reaches that wider audience. So then, when they go to work the next day and we're like, I saw you had facials last night, where were you? It gives them a prompt to kind of, talk about it and keep that momentum up. That's all I've got to say.
Thanks, Tanya. Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I like what you said earlier too. That Facebook is a funny thing. It's like whatever you do, everything sort of leaves a trace, so somebody can see it, and liking or clicking interested in different posts. It's all goes out there and spreads the word, and it supports. We were supporting each other at the same time. I think it's good. I've never done that, like just gone and put interested. So I'm going to do that now. That's great. Lucy, can you hop in there next? Can you unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi, Lucy. I'll get you to just tell us a little bit about the events that you've done and that we've done the outdoor events. Go for it.
Okay. Mainly the events I do at home are around food. I like food a lot and talk about food constantly. So I do healthy lunchbox for giving people ideas. I got customers from that. And the smoothie demo one I do is always really effective. Last time I did a smoothie demo, I got customers for complete as well as premium, so that worked really well. And my newest franchisee, the first exposure she had was to a smoothie demo. Then she came to the Kings Park event, which is more of a kind of around what I do in my other jobs. So we do meditation and like a gratitude section, outside grounding. Then we have someone talking about the product and the business and the CLT, and have some exercise as well. which is not my forte. So Penny did that last time and Miranda's done it before. So that's more of an actively involved one, I suppose, where the people get involved. I have started going to Tamara's every Thursday evening now. She started it last week and she's doing it like a lady lifestylers, I suppose, at her house. And something she said the other week was, with regards to events, you need to be going whether you have a guest or not. And that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't going to events if I didn't have a guest. If I had no guest, I'd be like, well, fuck it, I'm not going. And my mindset on that changed with something she said to me, which you've touched on earlier, Rachel, and it's if you go to the event, you're going to get something out of it, whether you've got a guest or not. And I went to her one on Thursday and turns out she wanted me to talk at it. So it was kind of good that I turned up because I was still deciding in the afternoon because I didn't have a guest whether to go or not. But I ended up sharing my story, which was really lovely. And then that was broadcast to Dubai as well. So people got to hear about why I'm on the product, who may not have heard it if they'd come, you know, because they're people that wouldn't have come to one of my events because I didn't know them. So that was nice. My new franchisee, Michelle, and I are working on doing a park event ourselves, basically a carbon copy of the King's Park event that I did with Tina, but north of the river, so nearer where I'm going to be moving to, north of the river. We're just going to meet up this week. We were supposed to meet up last week, but it ended up pissing down with rain, so we didn't, because we were going to go and look for a park up there that potentially had some like fencing, so that if people bring their kids, they don't have to worry about them running away onto the road and stuff. So we're going to be looking at that this week. The difficult thing is working out when I'm going to start that, because River's surgery now is pretty close, and it's major surgery. So I'm going to work out when we can start that, but hopefully we'll be able to start it before her surgery, and we may just have to have a break. Or other people can do it while she's not allowed out. And the other thing is, John Holowati said, you know, even if he had an event where it was him and a packet of biscuits, he'd take a photo of the packet of biscuits and he'd take a photo of his Juice Plus and put it on his Facebook and say, cracking event last night. Thanks so much to everyone that came. It was so good. It was so good. In fact, I forgot to take photos. Do you see what I mean? And it's creating again that oh God, he sounded like he had such a good event, even though it was him just sat there by himself. So it's also knowing that events start small and grow, but they will only grow if you're consistent. So if John Holowati had given up on that day where it was just him and a packet of biscuits, he wouldn't be 900 Club now. But he didn't give up when it was him and just a packet of biscuits. He kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going every week. And some weeks there were no one, and some weeks there were one person. But you never know when that one person is going to be the next John Holowati. So that could be your franchisee, that one person that's attended your event. So, and also I know that it does get disheartening when you do events where people don't turn up, but you can't take it personally is the biggest advice I've got. Don't take it personally and just keep cracking on. If it's just you and a few members of your team, make it a team training, but advertise it as an event, because it will only grow. And I knew Abby when she first started Juice Plus, because I was actually one of her first ever customers. And I know that Lady Lifestylers that they do on a Friday used to be very, very small. And it gradually got bigger to what it is today. So, yeah, it's just kind of find out the event that works for you, find out what you're good at, and keep going every week. I'm also working on some events with Maria in Dubai. So I've been giving her a few ideas with regards to events. So she's going to be joining up with another lady over in Dubai and doing her own Lady Lifestylers over there. And they're also going to do a men's meetup for the guys, because Simon's in the business as well now. So he'll be running his own lady lifestylers for men, and it will be like a men's meetup. That's kind of going to start cracking on, and I've given Maria the same advice. You know, if no one turns up, don't stress, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because if nothing else, you've got out the house and you've been to an event. Whether it's your event or not is irrelevant. You've got yourself out of the house and you've got yourself out of whatever you may have been doing. You may be going to some fresh air. You may be going to a cafe. You've got some good food in your belly. And if you just keep plugging on, then people will start joining. That's my advice.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucy. Some great tips and advice there from everyone. That's awesome. And yeah, the park events, we're also going to start a weekly event in a park in south of the river.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to do up north of the river. So and all your Southies, and it will be great if you guys, if anybody wants to link arms, wants to tell their story or in any way be involved, please do. It would be awesome. And the idea behind those events is to use our summer that we can be outside to do an exercise session, either before or after, depending on the weather. And that helps us to get out there and get a little bit of exercise in. But it also, there's lots of mums out there who this is one of the biggest things that is lacking in their, you know, they love with little ones. They find it hard to do it. So it'll be sort of a light exercise where they also learn about nutrition. We have gratitude, and Lucy does an awesome meditation. And we have something different every time, so that even if the same people will come, they get something different out of it every time.
Can I ask, Tina, where have you got a venue south of the river yet? Like, where will it be?
We've got a park. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name, but it's
Penny's found it.
Penny's found it. Apparently, it's a park that it's got all the equipment. Like exercise equipment, it's got a fair bit of grass area, and it's got a gated a playground right next to it, so it'll be perfect for mums.
Okay.
Kids. And it's actually got a sort of a running circuit as well, so if anyone wants to go for a run, they can go for a run afterwards.
And yeah. Penny's exercises are so good. She's so good.
Awesome. Yeah. But the one that Miranda did was great too. But another thing is, like, if you know anybody who's a PT or yoga instructor, or anybody who would like to be involved and come, even if there is a different person doing a session every week, it's a great way for them to get exposure. But also it's a great way to bring them closer to the business or expose them to our stories and the community. Has anyone got any questions, or would anyone else who would like to add anything? Have you had any successes or anything you want to add? Everyone's all cool? All right. The last thing we'll get it to half an hour, which is great. If you've got any events coming, please put them up on the Angels page so that we can all support each other, and that create that community and the crowd at all our events. And like Lucy said, even if you don't have a guest, come yourself, because you will learn, you will find out something. I've been in this business for a long time, but I learn something every single time, because I haven't always heard everybody's stories. I haven't heard even the same people talking. They always talk about something in a different way. So I always learn something. I always leave feeling that I got something out of it. All right, I think I'll love it and leave it. I'll stop recording.